What is going on, guys? It's Panjano here, and today I'm going to bring you guys the ultimate guide to optimizing your Windows 10 PC for the ultimate gaming performance. Giving you guys the best performance with inside of games as possible, speeding up the overall system responsiveness, and just further optimizing the machine for all tasks out there, not just for games, to ensure that we're getting the best performance across the board, reducing startup times, reducing latency, decreasing the time it takes to open up programs, find things on your PC, and just overall fine-tuning your PC to make it the best it can possibly be. As if you guys do find the guide effective and are happy with the results, please do let me know down in that comment section down below as to what sort of results you've been getting. And if you guys can share around this video with any friends, family, co-workers, or anyone that you could find that can benefit from the fixes within inside of this video and optimizing their machines, please do share this video around with them. And last but not least, if you guys can go ahead and press that like button if you are happy with the video, that would be deeply appreciated as it helps me out tremendously. And for any of you guys who are frequent followers of my content and you wish to further support the channel, or you just find this video very informative and you wish to support the channel as well, my Patreon link can be found down in the description down below. It's just there for you guys who wish to further support me. It's not entirely necessary, but it does just help stabilize my income and allow me to put more time into creating videos for you guys. Now, with all that said and done out of the way, let's get straight into the guide to ensure that you guys are getting the best experience possible with inside of Windows 10 in 2018. So before we apply any optimizations, let's make sure that we're on the latest updated Windows 10. To do this, simply navigate down to the bottom left hand side and click on the Windows button. Then go ahead and type in updates, click on the check for updates icon found here. Then go to the Windows Update tab found here at the top and click check for updates. If there are any updates there, make sure that you go ahead and let them be applied. Come back into Windows, come back to this video. Once you guys see this screen, we are then good to go ahead and start optimizing the operating system. So starting off, before we apply any changes, we're actually going to be enabling a system restore point. This is just for any of you guys who wish to go ahead and experiment with this, see if you like the optimizations, see if you like Windows the way it is. And it just gives you guys the option to revert back to how Windows is right now in your system, so you can revert all these changes back with a click of a button if you wish to do so. So to do this, we're going to be going ahead to the bottom left hand side and clicking the Windows button. We're going to be typing in system restore, just like so. Once you guys see that, go ahead and click on the create a restore point. Go ahead to the system protection tab found here at the top. Then what we're going to be doing is enabling a system restore point on our local disk C drive. Once you guys have highlighted your local disk C drive found here, go ahead and press the configure button. Once that's then opened up, navigate to the top and make sure turn on system protection is enabled. Then we're going to be setting the max usage to around about 3 to 5%, depending on what the size of your system is. Once that's then set to either 3 or 5%, simply go ahead and press apply. Then press OK. So simply go ahead and press the create button. Inside of here, we can call this anything we wish to do so. So I'm going to be calling mine backup and then press create. It will then notify you that the restore point has successfully been created. Simply go ahead and press close, then press OK. Right, so starting off with the optimizations, we're going to be going ahead and applying the most basic stuff first of all. So to do this, simply go ahead and navigate down to the bottom left and click your Windows button. Then go ahead and click this settings icon cog found here. Start off by going over to the system tab. Then we're going to be going down to where it says notifications and actions. And we're going to start going ahead and actually turning off most of these switches found here. So for any of these switches found here, which are turned to the on position within inside notifications, we're going to be turning these off just by clicking them just like so. So under notifications, we're going to be turning off all of these options found here just by unchecking them just like so. Make sure that we get notifications from these apps is also turned off. Once those have then been applied, we're then going to be going down to focus assist found here on the left hand side and turning this off. Then going down to tablet mode, and we're going to be going to when I sign in, we're going to be using desktop mode on this drop down menu. When this device automatically switches tablet mode on or off, go to the drop down menu and go to don't ask me, don't switch. And then turn off these two options found here. Proceeding on from there, go down to the multitasking tab found here on the left hand side, turn off all of the snap functions in here just by simply clicking them to the off position, turn off the timeline, and go down to virtual desktops. Now, unless you guys are actually using virtual desktops, and if you are using them, you will know that you're using them, but if you're just a standard Windows user and you don't use virtual desktops, make sure that you do copy these settings here by going to only the desktop I'm using, and also change the Alt tab option here to only the desktop I'm using. We can then ignore projecting to this PC and then go down to shared experiences, and we can also turn off the shared experiences with inside of here, making sure that is set to the off position. Then we're going to be going down to the remote desktop option found here on the left hand side and ensuring that is set to the off position. Unless you guys do use remote desktops, then you are going to want to leave that onto the on position, but if you don't, make sure it's turned off. Once you guys are then done inside of there, go back to the home button by pressing home in the top left, and we can then proceed to move on to the personalization tab found here on the right hand side. With inside of here, we're then going to be starting off with the background options found here in the top left by clicking on background, and we're going to be setting our background not to a picture but to a solid color. just like so. You can click from any of the colors within inside of this screen here. I'm going to personally be going with this purple shadow color here. You can set this to anything you wish to do so, but for the best performance within inside of Windows, we do want the solid color option selected. Once you guys have then set your background, you can then go down to the colors option found here. You can scroll down and turn off transparency effects found here on the left hand side, and you can set any of the other options within inside of here to your personal preference. Once you guys are then done inside of there, we can then navigate back to the home button, and we can then proceed to go to the apps tab found here, offline map section found here on the left hand side. Inside of here, we're then going to be making sure that the metered connections is turned to the off position, map updates is turned to the off position, and we're also going to be clicking the button for delete all maps and press delete all. We can then proceed to go on for apps for websites, and we can then proceed to go and turn off Microsoft Edge within inside of here. And proceeding on from there, we can then go ahead to the gaming tab found here in the middle section with the little Xbox icon next to it by clicking on it. And inside of here, we can then start off by going to the game bar tab found here on the left hand side. We're then going to be turning off any of the switches within inside of here, so make sure turn off game clips, screenshots, broadcast and game bar is off. Scroll down, make sure there are no other options within inside of there. We can then go to the game DVR option and also turn all of these switches to the off position. We're going to be setting the maximum record length to 30 minutes, setting the FPS to 30, and video quality to standard. Then going over to the true play mode found here on the left hand side, and we can also turn this to the off position. But for any of you guys who do use the Xbox application within inside of Windows and you do play the games inside of there, you might want to keep true play enabled. But if you don't use the Xbox application within inside of Windows 10, I recommend turning this off. We can then go ahead and navigate back to the home section once again, and this time we're going to be going over to one of the most important tabs in here, which is the privacy tab found here in the bottom left hand side. Open it up, and we can start by going to the general tab found here at the top. I personally like to turn off all of the options within inside of the general tab. We can then go ahead and go to the diagnostics and feedback tab found here at the top. I recommend you guys go ahead and set the diagnostic data to basic found here at the top. Then going down to the improve inking and typing recognition, turning that to the off position, tailored experiences, turning that off, diagnostic data viewer off. And we're also going to be going to the delete diagnostic data and pressing delete. After that of this device, and we can click on change, make sure that is set to the off position, then scrolling down to location history and pressing clear, then going down to the choose apps in which you can use your precise location and turning all three of them to the off position, then going over to the camera option found here on the left hand side, and I recommend turning all of this off as well. Click on the change access for this camera by turning this off. Following on from there, what we're actually going to be going ahead and doing is ensuring that our operating system itself is running completely optimized and the settings within inside of Windows are set correctly to ensure that we're getting the best performance and we are not slowing down our machine in any way. To do this, we're going to be going down to the bottom left hand side and typing in this PC just like so, right clicking on this PC and going to the properties tab and go to advanced system settings. Within inside of here, we're then going to be going to the advanced tab found here at the top, going to the performance tab found here and clicking on settings. Within inside of here, this is usually going to be set defaultly to let Windows choose what's best for my computer, but what we're going to be doing is going ahead and setting custom. Once custom has been selected, proceed to uncheck pretty much everything inside of here just by simply clicking on the checkbox and unchecking it just like so. Once everything is unchecked, we're going to be re-enabling two options within inside of here, starting off with smooth edges of screen fonts and show thumbnails instead of icons. Once you guys have got that set, simply go down and press apply. Once those settings have then been applied, simply navigate over to the Advanced tab found here at the top, go to the Processor Scheduling tab, and set it to adjust best performance of programs. Once that's then been selected, simply go down to the Virtual Memory tab and go over to the Change button and click it. Once you guys have then clicked that Change button, you'll then be brought to the Virtual Memory tab, which is where you can actually set up the paging files for your Windows hard drives or SSDs. What the page file pretty much does is it acts as reserved RAM. So let's say you have 16 gigabytes of RAM installed to your machine. You have multiple programs open, or you have an intense game open and you're pretty much using most of the RAM available within inside of your system. RAM usage will then spill over to your page file. So the faster your page file and the more optimized your page file, the faster that RAM spillover can be dealt with. So first of all, before we do anything, you guys need to go ahead and go to the automatically manage page file size for all drives checkbox found here at the top and uncheck it. Now inside of here, you'll then see all of the hard drives or SSDs installed in your system. There might be more than mine or less than mine, but don't worry, as the amount of hard drives or SSDs you have is completely irrelevant. What we're going to be doing is going from one by one all the way from the top down to the bottom. We're going to be removing any of the old paging files installed to your machine. So for me, I'm going to be starting off with my C drive. So I'm going to select my C drive here. Once it's highlighted, I'm going to be going down to no paging file and pressing set. Then pressing yes to this warning message, and you'll repeat that step for all of the hard drives and SSDs on your system until you're done. Now once we've gone ahead and removed all of the old paging files within inside of our machine, we're actually good to go ahead and actually install our optimized paging file. So going off the criteria on the right hand side of the screen now and what I'm about to explain, we're going to be installing our page file to the correct location. So starting off with the best case scenario. If you guys have an SSD installed to your machine, whether it be for your operating system, games or anything else, if you have an SSD on your system, you should always install your paging file to the SSD, as they typically run a lot faster than hard drives do. For any of you guys who do not have an SSD in your machine, but you have multiple hard drives in your machine, we're going to be wanting to install our paging file to the hard drive which does not have our games on it. If you guys only have one hard drive or one SSD in your machine, just one drive, that's all you've got, go ahead and install your paging file to that drive. So going off of the criteria in the screen and the criteria I just went through right there, go ahead and decide on which drive you're going to be installing it to. For my machine here, I personally have an SSD, and that SSD is my C drive, so I'm going to be installing my paging file to that. So once you guys have gone ahead and selected the drive in which you're going to be putting your paging file on, like I have here, we're then going to want to be going down to the system managed size found here and clicking set. Once it's then been applied, it should then say paging file size, system managed by the drive. Once that's then done, you guys can actually go ahead to the bottom here, press OK. You'll then be notified that a restart will be required for the changes to take effect. That's fine, as we're going to be restarting our PCs after this guide. Once you guys have pressed OK, go down to apply, press OK once again, and OK. But we're going to be going ahead and pressing restart later, as we're going to be restarting later on after all of the optimizations have been applied. Proceeding on from there, what we're going to be doing is applying a cleanup to our Windows startup items. So to do this, it's very simple. Simply navigate to the bottom of your machine, right click on your taskbar, and then go to Task Manager. Once Task Manager then opens up, simply go up to the Startup tab found here at the top, and inside of here you'll be finding all of the items in which are set to boot when your machine logs in. What we want to be doing inside of here is minimizing this to the least amount of items possible. Do bear in mind some of these will be essential, so you don't want to remove all of them, just the ones in which you are happy not automatically booting. So to optimize these, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking through the ones in which we know what they do. Stuff within inside of here that you know what it is, and you're happy with it not being on. Once you guys have found something in here, whether it be Skype, Discord, Steam, whatever it might be, and you decide, no, I don't actually want that to boot up with my machine, and I'm happy to manually boot that as and when I want it. For instance, I'm going to be using Discord here. What we're going to be doing is actually going and clicking on Discord, going to the bottom right hand side and clicking disable. You'll then notice that the status found here is then set to disabled. We want to make as many of these disabled as possible, but again I must stress, if you do not understand the name of the application that you're disabling, or you're not sure entirely what it does, do not touch it and leave it on its default value. Proceeding on from there, what we're going to be doing is ensuring that Windows is actually booting with the full availability of the hardware within inside of your machine. So to do this, what we're going to be doing is going to the bottom left hand side, and this time we're going to be typing in msconfig, just like so. Once you've then typed that in, simply go ahead and press enter. Then on the side of here, a system configuration tab will then open. What we're going to be doing is going ahead to the boot tab found here at the top, selecting your Windows 10 installation directory just by highlighting it. Then what we're going to be doing is going to the advanced options. Once you guys are inside of advanced options, simply go ahead to the number of processors tab and select it. When inside of there, go to the drop down menu, scroll all the way to the bottom and select the highest number inside of here. It is important that you use the scroll wheel to ensure you have found the highest number available in here. This might be less than mine, it might be more than mine. It could be anywhere from 2 all the way up to around about 36. So for me that's 6, so I'm going to be going ahead and pressing 6. Then I'm going to be going down and pressing OK. Then when inside of here, I also like to select the No GUI boot option. And I also like to go over to my timeout and set it to around about 5 seconds. This will usually be set to around about 15, 20 or maybe even 30 seconds by default. So setting this to 5 seconds will drastically decrease your boot times. For any of you guys like me and you're on a super modern, really good high-end PC, I recommend maybe setting this to 3 seconds, but your results may vary. Once you guys have gone ahead and set those, go ahead and press the apply button. And then once those have been applied, simply go ahead and press OK. And again, we're going to be pressing exit without restart. Proceeding on from there, what we're actually going to be going ahead and doing is going down into our Windows audio options and ensuring that they are running completely natively within inside of the operating system. We're going to be disabling any post-processing effects that might be applied to them, or any mismatches within inside of the audio playback rate, which can sometimes cause stuttering within inside of games and FPS issues. So to do this, simply navigate to the bottom right hand side, go over to your speaker icon, right click. This time we're going to be going to the Sounds tab and clicking. Then once the Sounds tab then opens up, simply go ahead and go to the Playback tab found here at the top left hand side. To do with inside of this tab is scroll down and find what you're using for your audio playback device. It will usually be the device inside of here with the green tick next to it. Go ahead and right click on the audio playback device, go down to Properties. Then when inside of here, we're then going to be going to the Enhancements tab found here at the top, selecting Disable all sound effects. And before we go ahead and press apply, if the audio in this video cuts out after you press apply, just simply go ahead, close out your browser, open the browser back up, come back to this video and your audio will be fixed. Press apply. Once you guys have applied that, go to the Advanced tab found here at the top, go to Default Format, select the drop down menu, and then proceed to scroll all the way to the top until you find 16-bit 44,100 Hz CD quality. Once you've found that, go ahead and select it. And once that's then selected, go ahead and press apply again, press OK, then press OK again. Following on from there, what we're then going to be doing is ensuring that Windows is running the most performance efficient power plan possible, ensuring that we can get the highest of frame rates, the fastest of loading times, and just keeping your system as fast as it can be. So to do this, what we're going to be doing is navigating to the bottom left hand side. And this time we're going to be typing in power. Once you guys have typed in power, it doesn't matter what the option says, as long as it has this icon here, which is a little battery with a cord around it. Click on any of the options within inside of here, regardless of what it says. Just make sure that you're clicking on this icon. Once you guys have clicked on the icon, go to the top here and select power options. Go down to the show additional power plans, select the drop down menu, and then find the power plan within inside of here called high performance. Go ahead and select it just by clicking on it once on the left hand side. Then go over to change plan settings once that's been selected. These two options within inside of here you can set to whichever you wish to do so. I then recommend going down to change advanced power settings found here at the bottom, going over to the hard disk option within inside of here, going to turn off hard disk after, going over to the minutes section where it should normally say 20 and double click on the number. Once you guys have double clicked on the number, go ahead and input 0 and press apply. Once you guys have done that, scroll all the way down to the bottom, select processor power management, select minimum processor state and maximum processor state, and ensure that they are both set to 100%. If for some reason these are not set to 100%, again, double click on the number, go ahead and input 100, press apply, and press OK. You guys can then go ahead and save changes, and you can then exit out of the Windows power options as that step is now complete. Proceeding on from there, what we're then going to be doing is opening up the Windows registry editor, so we can go ahead and actually further optimize some settings deep within inside of Windows to ensure that we're giving a performance priority towards gaming applications and other heavy workload applications. So to do this, simply go ahead and navigate to the bottom left hand side. Then within inside of here, we're going to be typing in run. Once you guys have typed that in, go ahead and press enter. But inside of this box, you're then going to be typing in regedit, just like so, and go ahead and press enter again. And then within inside of here, the Windows registry editor will then open. This is probably going to look incredibly confusing to some of you guys who have not been in here before, but it's absolutely fine. Just follow along with the video and the instructions you're given, and it's very, very hard to go wrong. So what we're going to be doing is going over to H key local machine, double clicking on that folder. Then within inside of there, we're then going to be going down to the software folder. Double clicking on software. We're then going to be finding the Microsoft folder, selecting it by double clicking. Once you guys are inside of the Microsoft folder, simply go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom this time. And we're then going to be finding the folder called Windows NT. Once you guys have found that folder, double click on it, then go to current version by double clicking. And once you guys are inside of that folder, simply scroll all the way down to the M section and select the multimedia folder. Once you guys have selected that, we're then going to be going to System Profile and clicking on System Profile just once. Once you guys have done that, you'll then notice that you should be seeing two keys within inside of here. One should be called Network Throttling Index and the other should be called System Responsiveness. Inside of here, we're then going to be starting off with the Network Throttling Index. So to go ahead and edit this, simply go ahead and double click on it. With inside of here, simply go ahead and delete any value that's in there. And then what we're going to be doing is actually inputting the value of 7 Fs. So it's very simple, find the F key and type 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once you guys have input 7 Fs, simply go ahead and press OK. Then following on from there, we're then going to be going to System Responsiveness and double clicking. With inside of here, simply go ahead to the value data, and the value data we're going to be setting with inside of System Responsiveness is going to be 0, and then press OK. Once you guys have edited those two keys, we're then going to be going to the left hand side again, going to the System Profile folder, but this time we're going to be double clicking on it. Then going ahead and double clicking on Tasks, then going down to the Games folder by double clicking. Inside of here, you should then be seeing these keys here. We're going to be starting off by going to the GPU priority value, double clicking on GPU priority, then going over to the value data and setting the value data to 8. Go ahead and press OK once that's then been set. Then go down just to the priority key, double click on priority, go to the value data. This time we're going to be setting this value to 6 and press OK. Then last but not least for the edits with inside of here, go down to the scheduling category key, double click on it. This time with inside of the value data, remove anything with inside of here. So remove anything in there. And this time we're going to be setting this to high, which is HIGH, just like so. Then go ahead and press OK. And then once you're done with inside of there, you can then go ahead and exit out of the registry editor, and all of the registry edits have then been completed. At this point in the video, I like to perform some advanced, simple system maintenance. So what we're going to be doing is actually going ahead, going to the bottom left hand side, and we're going to be typing in %appdata %. Just type it in, it looks exactly like that. Once you guys have typed that in, go ahead and press enter on your keyboard. Then on the side of here, we're then going to be going to the app data folder found here at the top. By selecting it, simply go to the local folder by double clicking, scroll all the way down to the T section, and you should be finding a folder somewhere in here called temp or TEMP. Simply then go ahead and double click in that folder, and on the side of here you'll be seeing tons and tons of folders and files with random names. What we're going to be doing is actually going from the top to the bottom, highlighting every single folder and file inside of here, and what we're actually going to be doing is deleting all of these files, or as many as we can. The reason we're going to be doing this is all of the folders and files you're seeing in front of you are either excess Windows caching files, dump files, or excess stuff that's just been dumped here by programs you have set up on your operating system. Usually within inside of most of my videos where I do share this step with you guys, I get everyone to try and comment down below and tell me how much they managed to remove from this folder. Some of the stories I've heard from this are absolutely crazy, and I think the most I've ever seen someone remove from here is around about 50 plus gigabytes. Once you guys have got everything highlighted within inside of here, simply go ahead and right click, go down to delete. What will notify the action cannot be completed for all folders and files. If you are met with this, just simply go ahead and select do this for all current items and then hit the skip button. And keep doing that for every folder that comes up. If there is anything remaining within inside of this folder, those are the only folders and files which are actually being used by your machine. At this point in the video, I like to go ahead to my recycling bin on my desktop and actually right click and hit empty recycling bin and select yes. Now, proceeding on from that step, what we're going to be doing is installing some applications to our PC, which will help us further maintain and optimize our machines. So starting off with these applications, what we're going to be doing is installing an application called CPU Core Parking Manager V3. Links will be found in the description down below. You should be seeing around about 4 or 5 different programs in there, and they'll be going in corresponding order to how they go in this video. So the first link you should be seeing in that description should be this link here. Click on the link and you'll be brought to this website here. In here you can find an in-depth explanation as to what this program actually does, and I'll be giving a brief explanation of what it does when we're installing it. So to get the program, simply go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom until you find this button found here above the add comment section, which should be download application executable files. Click it once, you'll then notice that the zip file will then be downloading, and it should be called CPU Core Parking 3. And then once you guys have done that, you should then notice that the file will look just like this. But inside of here, what I'm going to be doing is actually going ahead and right clicking on the file and clicking extract here. Simply go ahead and double click on the setup, simply go ahead and press next, accept the terms to the license agreement, select next, install it to the default location by pressing next again, and then finally press install. Once it's then been installed to your machine, you'll then be given a screen like this. Make sure it's selected to launch when you press finish, and then press finish. Before we go ahead and actually apply any changes to the options inside of here, I'm going to give you guys a brief explanation as to what this program does. What this program does here is with these 3 options is it allows Windows to get full access to all of your CPU cores at 100% of their speed as and when programs within inside of Windows may need it. Usually Windows defaultly reserves around about 20% or even more. What this program here actually does is it unlocks the full potential of your CPU. So say if you're playing games or you're doing heavy workload tasks and you want all of the CPU power that your system actually has and you don't want Windows interfering with that, in a nutshell, this program basically allows you to do that. We're going to be starting off by going to the power data plan found here at the top, going to the drop down menu and selecting high performance. Once you guys have set that, go down to the core parking index, which is the amount of CPU cores Windows has access to. Drag this blue slider and drag it all the way up to 100%. Following on from there, go to the frequency scaling index, which is 100% of the CPU core speed, dragging this all the way up to 100% as well. And then last but not least, going down to the turbo boost index and dragging that all the way up to 100% again. For any of you guys who are wondering whether or not your CPUs will be running at 100% all the time, this does not mean that. Your CPUs will still idle, your CPUs will still go down to low usage when you're not using them. It just allows Windows to use 100% of them if Windows needs to use 100% of them. It sounds very simple, and it really is. Once you guys have set those options, simply go down and press the apply button, press OK, and we can then exit out of the program. Following on from that step, I've included a PC maintenance tool called CCleaner. A lot of you guys have probably already come across CCleaner, or you might already have it installed to your machine, so just make sure that you have the latest update installed, and if you guys don't have it installed, it's very easy, free and simple to get. You can find the link down in the description down below. It will be found underneath the CPU core parking link. Click on the free download section. On the left hand side, scroll all the way down again and click download. You guys can then simply go ahead and open that up. Once you guys have then selected that to be opened up, simply go ahead and press install to your machine. Once it's then installed, go ahead and click run cleaner. Once you guys have gone ahead and clicked that, the CCleaner free application will then open up and it will look very similar to this. What I then like to go ahead and do for any of you Google Chrome users, go to the cleaner tab, go to applications found here at the top and uncheck all of the options for Google Chrome within inside of here. Once you guys have got that set, simply go ahead and press the analyze button found here at the bottom and press yes. And then once the analysis has then been completed, you'll be given the information of what the analysis found here. So for me, it's found around about 2.2 gigabytes that can be removed from my system, and it's then going to show me where all of those files and the size of those files have been found. To apply those changes and to remove that excess rubbish, simply go ahead down to the Run Cleaner option and select Run Cleaner and press Continue. It will then notify that cleaning has been completed. It will give you a rundown of how long it took to clean. It will show you how many privacy tracking files have been removed and the excess amount of junk that was managed to be removed from that cleaning process as well. And then once you guys are done with inside of there, I do recommend running the cleaner tool with inside of CCleaner around about once every month just for good basic PC maintenance, as it is very effective. What I also like to go ahead and do with inside of here is go down to the Tools section, go to the Uninstall tab, and with inside of here you can actually remove some of those programs you couldn't remove previously in the video from the default Windows uninstall tool, as some of them are disabled and Windows does not like you removing some of them. So what you guys can actually do here is spend around about 5 minutes selecting any of the excess programs you don't want installed in your machine anymore. So for me, I can already see these Apple application support and software update things. I don't have an Apple device, so I'm going to be removing these just by simply highlighting, going to uninstall, and pressing yes. Again, go through here, and anything with inside of here you know you're not going to be using and you understand what it is, remove it from your machine. And then once you guys have spent some time going through there and removing any of the programs you no longer wish to have, you guys can then simply go ahead and exit out of CCleaner. Right, so once you guys have made it to this step in the video, we're pretty much done with the nitty gritty optimizations with inside of the operating system and stuff like that. And we can move on to some more basic things and ensuring that things are up to date to ensure that you're getting the most performance, especially out of your graphics cards. So what I want you guys to go ahead and do is in the description down below, a little bit lower than the links I've provided for the applications, you should then be finding a link for the NVIDIA GeForce drivers and the AMD Radeon drivers. At this point, I recommend everyone goes and actually updates their GPU drivers, regardless of how recent you might have done it, or if you guys have never actually updated your GPU drivers, fixes towards games, any bugs that you might be experiencing, and overall optimizations can be applied just by keeping your GPUs up to date. So I urge every person watching this video right now to go ahead, click on your corresponding link for your GPU in which you have installed to your machine, or you might know it as a graphics card, click on the corresponding link, and we'll start off with you guys who are running on NVIDIA GeForce cards. Simply go ahead and click on the NVIDIA GeForce update link, then go to the automatic driver updates tab found here at the top, go to the GeForce experience and press the download button. Download the program, install it to your machine, follow the on-screen wizard, it will detect and install everything for you and you won't have to do a thing. For you AMD Radeon users, it's a very similar process. Go to the AMD Radeon link, go down to the automatically detect and install your driver tab found here, click download, and this will also go ahead and detect and install everything for you, ensure that the latest driver has been applied, and it will also help keep your GPU up to date. And at this point in the video, speaking of GPU updates, once you guys have applied the latest GPU drivers to your machines, I highly urge you guys go ahead and click on the video on the screen now by clicking on the card in the top right hand side. By clicking on the card in the top right hand side, you'll be taken to the video in which is being shown on the screen now. That video is the ultimate guide to overclocking your GPU. GPU overclocking might sound intimidating, especially for you guys who are not entirely sure on what it is, and it might sound extremely unsafe. But in reality, it's free, it's easy, and there's so much performance that could be at your fingertips for no cost whatsoever, and it's almost completely risk-free. You can even increase the lifespan of your GPU by turning up the fan speed manually with inside of there and further optimizing the GPU itself. And then last but not least, we're going to be going to the last link in the description down below, which is for a program called Timer Resolution. So to get this program, simply go ahead and click on the download link in the description down below and you'll be brought to a site like this. If this site doesn't work for you guys, you can use the alternative download link below it. You guys can then go ahead and click on the download tab. Once it's then downloaded, you'll be given a program that looks very similar to this. I recommend then putting this program onto your desktop. Once you guys have then installed the program to your desktop just by dragging it onto it, you'll be given a program that looks very similar to this. What this program basically does is it lowers the amount of latency between the hardware in your system, the operating system itself, and any workload or game applications you might be running. The reason why this benefits you guys is it lowers the amount of latency between them, making your mouse and keyboard movements and inputs feel a lot more responsive. It can also decrease frame times, which can make your game feel a lot more smooth, and it can also increase frame rates. I personally use this program when I'm video editing and playing pretty much any game out there, just to ensure that I'm getting the lowest amount of latency and getting the highest frame rates possible. It's a completely safe, free and lightweight program to use, and I use it with pretty much everything. So to use this program, what you guys want to go ahead and do is simply go ahead and double click on it and you'll be given this program here. Once you guys are inside of the program, to set the lowest latency possible, go down to the bottom left hand side and click maximum. You should then find that the current resolution value here should then drop. Go ahead and minimize the program. At this point, you'll then open up any game or application you wish to run the application for however long you wish to do so, or play the game for however long you wish to do so. Once you're then done with your workload or you're done playing, close out your game, come back to the program, select default, it will then set the default value back, then go ahead and exit out. And it is just that simple to use. And lastly, a few small minor optimizations in which we can apply to a couple of programs within inside of Windows, especially the programs which are typically running in the background whilst you're using heavier applications or playing games such as Google Chrome, Spotify, or maybe even Discord. And what we can do with these programs is actually disable the hardware acceleration mode within inside of them, which means the programs have access to a higher range of hardware within inside of your system. And disabling this basically frees up more of your resources to be going towards the heavy application or game in which you're playing, so you guys should be seeing minimal slowdowns. Again, if you guys do experience any slowdowns with inside of these programs or anything doesn't seem completely right, just go ahead and enable the hardware acceleration options just by doing the reverse of what you just did. But for the majority of you people watching this video, you should not be seeing any negative effects from this, and only positive. And just for the record, on my high-end machine which I'm playing on now, I have hardware acceleration turned off from practically everything I possibly can. And last but not least, we're going to be performing a final cleanup on our drives and ensuring that they're running to the best of their ability, whether that be an SSD or a hard drive. So to do this, simply go ahead and navigate down to your file explorer found here in the bottom left, or alternatively, if you don't have that, you can type this PC and just click on this PC. With inside of here, you'll then find all of the hard drives and SSDs installed onto your machine, and we're going to be starting off with our C drive. Starting off with our C drive, we're going to be going ahead and right-clicking, going down to the Properties tab with inside of here, going to General, and we're going to be going ahead and clicking on Disk Cleanup. With inside of here, what we're going to be going ahead and doing is clicking on the Cleanup System Files tab found here on the left-hand side and waiting for that process to complete. Once the system files have then been cleaned up, it can take a little while depending on the speed of your system again. What we're then going to be going ahead and doing is actually checking most of the options with inside of here, selecting them, and then once they're all selected, simply go ahead and press OK. Go ahead and click on Delete Files, and then once the process has then been completed, what we're now going to be going ahead and actually doing is going over to the Tools section within inside of the Properties, and we're going to be going to the Error Checking tool found here and pressing Check. Scanning the drive. Once the scan is completed, it should then notify you that no issues were found, and if any issues are found, it will actually go ahead and attempt to repair those issues for you. Go ahead and press Close. And then what we're simply going to be doing is exiting out of that and repeating the steps for all the other hard drives and SSDs on our system. And now, seeming that my D drive is actually a hard drive and my C drive is a solid state, what we can actually do for all hard drives on the side of our system is we can actually go to the Optimize and Defragment drive section found here. Again, do not go into the Optimize and Defragment options found here if you are running on an SSD. You can apply it to other hard drives on your system, but you do not want to defrag an SSD as that can damage the lifespan of an SSD. I'm going to be going into the Optimize and Defragment drive, pressing the Optimize button, and then inside of here you'll then see all of the drives installed to your machine. I'm going to be going over to my hard drive, which is my D drive, and I'm then going to be pressing the Analyze button. And if it comes back with any percentage, whether it be high or low, has been fragmented, you guys can then go ahead, highlight the drive again, and press the Optimize button. Now, once all of the analysis and optimizations have been completed, they can take a while, so if you don't wish to commit to this right now, I recommend maybe running the optimizations on a hard drive maybe overnight, as it will go ahead and defragment your hard drive, and depending on how big and how full it is, it can take up to around about an hour or two. Once you guys have completed that, go ahead and press Close, and then what you guys can go ahead and do is actually go ahead and press OK. Now, once you guys have reached this point in the video, it is now time to go ahead and restart your machines. The reason we're going to be restarting our machines is to ensure that all of the applications have done their jobs, all of the optimizations have been applied, and any changes have taken effect. Go down to the bottom left hand side, right click on your power button, go ahead and press restart and come back to the video. And now, proceeding on with one of the last optimizations inside of this video, is just performing some basic disk cleanup to ensure that the operating system is completely healthy and your drives are completely healthy too. So to do this, what we're going to be doing is navigating down to the bottom left hand side, and this time typing in command prompt, just like so. Once you then type that in, right click on command prompt and run it as administrator, and then you'll then notice that command prompt should open just like this. If you guys now navigate into the description down below, you'll notice that there are some command prompt commands down in the description down below, in which you can just copy and paste in, which saves you typing in anything or getting anything wrong. So first of all, what we're going to be doing is copy and pasting in that first command, which is sfc/scan now. Once you've copied and pasted that or typed that out exactly how it is, go ahead and press enter. And this could take a few moments depending on the speed of your system, so just wait for this verification scan to be completed. If you did not get this message, it will automatically go ahead and attempt to repair any integrity violations or any issues that might be there with your operating system. So allow any of the commands it automatically runs to completely finish before exiting out of the command prompt or running the second command. Once the first command has been run and is completely completed, you guys can go ahead into the description down below and get the second command ready to paste in, which should read dism/online/cleanupimage/restore health. Just like so, go ahead and copy and paste that in, or type it out if you wish to do so, and then go ahead and press enter. Once the command has been completed, unless there any issues have been found within inside of your operating system, the command prompt should now read that the operation has been completed successfully and no issues are found. Again, if issues are found, it should automatically start the procedure for going ahead and repairing those. And if that is the case, wait for the command prompt to completely finish whatever it is doing. And then following on from there, what you guys can go ahead and do is just simply exit out of the command prompt. And again, guys, please do remember that at the beginning of this video, we did enable a system restore point. So if you start experiencing any issues, any stuttering, or you're not happy with the results of this guide, or just wish to revert back for any reasons we wish to do so, please do remember you do have that system restore point installed if you wish to do so. And last but not least, guys, if you guys can let me know what your results are down in the comment section below, how snappy your system might be, or any questions, queries, or suggestions for other videos, please also let me know down in that comment section below, as it's always fantastic to hear from you guys. If you guys did enjoy this video and found this video helpful, please do like and share it around with any of your friends, family, co-workers, teammates, anyone that you think can also benefit from the optimizations within inside of this video, and just help people's PCs get running up to spec and help them out with any issues they might be having. That'd be deeply appreciated. And for more guides like this and more game specific guides, hardware specific guides, and also console guides and other guides, or you just wish to suggest anything, please do subscribe to the channel and press that bell notification to be notified instantly whenever I do upload, whether that be updated guides, brand new guides, or even community suggested videos. By pressing that like button and the bell notification, you'll be notified instantly. And again, guys, for any of my frequent followers out there, the Patreon link will also be found down in that description down below. If you wish to further support the channel, it's not entirely necessary, and it's just there for you guys who wish to further support the work I'm doing and help me do it on a more consistent basis. And with all that being said and done, thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Panjano, and I am out.